Pretty tough conditions. There's a lot of heat in Hawaii, obviously, the humidity you've got to deal with, and also the wind. So it's quite a challenging course. Once you finish the 180 kilometres on the bike, you've got to run a marathon. So transition into your running gear and off you go, marathon, and you're running in the heat of the day. I think that's the thing that makes the Ironman the Ironman, especially in Hawaii, it's a long event, but it's also very hot and humid and windy, and it's an amazing event. You know, you need to contend with making sure you're getting in enough fluids. You need to keep your core body temperature down. Anytime the heat starts to raise, it gets tough on the body. So you're racing for a long time, your body's heating up naturally, and then as the day goes on, the weather heats up as well. So, you know, you can easily overheat, you can dehydrate, not have enough salts, and then on top of that, you throw in the crazy winds that they get down there. So, you know, I know pro athletes that were blown off their bike in Hawaii this year. So some crazy winds. It's an Ironman. It's not supposed to be easy. So I think that's why we do it. We go to Kona and we want to race that race because it is a challenge, and it is, you know, for a lot of the time you're just happy to get to the finish line.
In your family background, is there good reason why you've become the athlete that you have?
Not really, to be honest. I grew up playing basketball. I played basketball for around 11 years and grew up in a big family on a farm. I guess I had a pretty active childhood. Played a lot of sports in Australia, south of Brisbane. And one of 6 kids. I had lots of brothers and sisters to run around with. But no, I just found triathlon after I'd finished high school, and I was looking for a new challenge and was starting university, and stumbled across a couple of athletes that did triathlon and sort of got hooked on it from there. And I had pretty immediate success. A couple of years later, I was in the Australian junior team, and from there I sort of have made the steps up to, you know, Ironman world champion that I am now. So I wouldn't say that, you know, I didn't grow up swimming or I didn't grow up doing a whole heap of running. I just kind of took the sport on as a whole at, you know, age 18. So
I see, with basketball as being your sport in the background.
Yeah.
Had you taken that to a high level too?
I did take it to you know, in Queensland, basketball, women's basketball especially, it's not really a big sport. I would have loved to have gone to America to play, but I don't think I was good enough for that. I made a Queensland team. I never made the Australian team, and I think my height at 5'3", I was never going to, you know, they kind of didn't see past that height. But yeah, no, I definitely just think triathlon was...
But getting into the triathlon and Ironman type of competition, you're going from a team sport, basketball, to what sounds to me like a very individualistic sport.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
Well, definitely. Triathlon is individual, and I think after so many years of being in a team, I was always that player that did the extra individual sessions with the coach. If there was any optional sessions, I would always do it. I'd do a little bit of training in the off season to make sure I was fit and ready for the upcoming season. And then with basketball, you'd play a game and you had to trust and rely on other athletes, and if they didn't do the work in the off season and they were unfit and they were tiring towards the end of the game, you had to live and die by that.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that it was all on me. So whether I did the work or not, I would see it in my results. So that's why I was really drawn to triathlon from the start, and also I think just the challenge of a new sport.
Obviously you find out things about yourself when you take on a big challenge like this.
Certainly, yeah. I've learnt so much, and I've grown up a lot from when I was a basketball player, obviously, at 18 to 29 that I am now. You're going to grow up anyway, but I've travelled the world. There are not many places I haven't been these days, so I think that in itself, just world travel, helps you grow up, and you see the world in a different light when you've seen how different people live.
And where do you train normally now?
Now I spend most of the year in Boulder, Colorado, up at altitude, I guess. I spend probably around 8 months there, and then the rest of the time in Noosa, Australia. That's sort of my training base in Australia. So
very nice.
Best of both worlds. I kind of follow the endless summer, which is pretty cool.
And when it came to actually bringing off the big one, winning this fantastic world-class Ironman event, in the course of it, did you think, I'm on track, I think I can do this, I know I'm going to? Would you ever be that confident?
No, I definitely went into the race thinking, I go into every race trying to win, and I prepare for the win. So, that's not necessarily always the outcome, but I set myself up to hope for success. I put myself in a position where I can potentially win. That may not happen, but in this case, the day went perfectly to plan. I had probably the best swim of my life, and then I was out on the bike, and I took a bit of a risk. I worked a lot harder than I did last year in the Ironman, and expended a lot more energy, and so I didn't know how I'd react on the run, but I had a gut feeling that I would be okay on the run, and that was the case. I felt good through most of the day. You never feel great for 9 hours of exercise, but for the most part, I think the plan worked to a T, and it's probably only the last mile that I allowed myself to believe that I'd done it.
And your colleagues say that it's running that you're particularly good at, and that's where you clinched that Ironman award that time.
Yes, I was 4th or 5th off the bike in Kona, and I took the lead at around mile 14, with 12 miles to go on the run. So the run is definitely my strength. I think this probably goes from worst to best for me. The swim is probably my weakest leg, then the bike's next, and then the run. So it's probably a good thing, that your run is your gift or your strength. So
finish strong.
It's good to be able to finish strong, but everybody has their strengths, and you can win a race with an amazing bike.
And you have got an amazing bike that you're very fond of.
Yes, I do. I do like my bike. So yeah.
The bike goes with you then, does it, wherever you go?
Yeah, I travel with my bike. It's very specific. It's built for me basically, and any race I go to, I pack it up in a big box. It's not that fun to travel with, but it's just part of being a professional triathlete.
Yes. Well, it's a lovely place to relax, but clearly it's a great place for activities too.
Definitely, yeah. Best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Mirinda Carfrae! Look at the smile on her face. Come on, keep it going. Tremendous day. Mirinda, you are an Ironman champion!
For many decades now, foreign visitors especially have come to this area to find out what they can about a shocking episode in World War II. It was the building of the Burma-Thailand Railway, and the film that was made about that episode, The Bridge Over the River Kwai, helped make this area particularly famous to foreign people. Mind you, this area is also very popular as a day visit for Thai people as well. The bridge is still there, somewhat rebuilt, but it still exists, and it's very popular as a daytime excursion for Thais and a point of great interest for foreign visitors as well. As is the museum beside the war cemetery, a solemn but beautiful place. What is perhaps less known is the fact that part of the railway line still exists, and you can take a day trip on it. It's something well worth doing for the beauty of the scenery as well as the significance of the remarkable history associated with this railway line here at Kanchanaburi. The train is soon at its most significant stop, right by the river and the bridge that gave its name to one of the most famous stories from World War II as it was experienced in this part of Asia. There are always passengers keen to make the crossing by train or on foot on the bridge over the River Kwai. this bridge is clearly not the huge timber structure that prisoners of war constructed at the direction of the Japanese armed forces in the 19th